We're watching the trans athletes have an unfair advantage. Because why not?
What is a woman?
A woman is
having a vagina. Oh, well, actually, no. Whatever you want to think is a woman.
There's trans men who are now capable of giving birth.
Does questioning make you transphobic?
I'm homophobic, I'm transphobic.
Like, why are you asking these questions right now type thing?
So today I asked about trans athletes. Challenge each person with questions the other side may ask. So let's see.
See, look, my point on it is that if you're not a female, an athlete, a professional athlete, or a female that's an athlete, a woman that's an athlete, like born female athlete, then you can't say that it should be fair for trans athletes to join because it would be unfair. So I always hear a lot of people's opinions on it, and it's always the non-athletic girls or females or women talking about trans athletes should be able to compete with female athletes. When I've heard multiple times, even from Serena Williams, who does not want to she doesn't want to compete with man, but you get what I'm trying to say. Whatever.
What they have to say. Should trans athletes compete against biological women?
People think that they're going to beat them, then they're probably not the best for that competition.
That's like saying like there's like 10 bears that are all fighting each other, and then it's like, wait, let's bring in this one T-Rex and then let's add that in and let's see how that kind of goes. And what happens is the T-Rex just destroys them.
So trans people are T-Rexes?
I mean, you can say that.
Women's sports is pretty self-descriptive. Women compete against women.
No matter how many surgery, a woman's body is a woman's body. You can't really change that.
You get on hormone therapy, it does change the hormones.
But if you were a guy your whole life, you still have the bone structure and all that. Like, I've seen videos of them saying you still have most of the guy shit, or not. Sure, it lowers it a little bit or a lot of it, but you still have the body of, or the makeup of a guy. I don't know how to say it, bro, but you still have the structure of a guy or whatever.
As females, they should be able to compete against females. What do I actually think?
Yeah.
Women should compete against women, and transgenders should compete against transgenders.
Exactly. That would be more fair. There needs to be a different league for them. So then that makes it fair. So then it's not fair to women. Because you don't see women go into guys, change into guys, and then go into guy sports because they wouldn't be able to compete, right? So I don't see why you could do the opposite.
Okay. Why do you believe that?
I got my own problems.
I was in the military. Was it fair for a male to do the female PT test?
The woman's PT, like a lower standard?
Significantly lower because a female can only do so much.
Okay. I do play men's volleyball, though, collegiately.
But before we continue, I know damn well I'm not the only one confused. I hope you don't mind me asking, but were you born a biological male?
I'm non-binary, so I can be female as a gender, and my sex can be male.
Whatever feels best for them.
That's what that means?
Between Monday and
Wait, that's what non-binary means? I didn't know that.
Friday.
That's interesting.
Monday and Friday, definitely she, her at my job. It just depends on the vibe.
Depends, yeah. On this channel, we explore the unfamiliar because it's only through genuine conversations that we can change our perspective.
Bro, but that's crazy. Imagine every day is something new. But then, like, imagine one day, I'm a guy, right? One day I go to a store, I say I'm a female. And then the dude calls me ma'am, her, whatever my pronouns are. I don't care about the pronoun shit, actually, because I find that shit dumb. But that's just my opinion. And then they call me her, right? And then the next day, I go to the same store, the same person calls me her, but I'm like, nah, today I'm a him. I'm a guy. Don't call me her. That's so confusing, bro. Like, come on.
Will people be too afraid to speak their truth? And with all the controversy, will I be demonetized or even worse, canceled like Chappelle? Bro, chill. Ain't no one canceling you with your no subscriber head ass.
Yeah.
What is a woman then?
This might come back and bite me in the ass, bro. Who knows?
Just somebody who feels comfortable within femininity.
I don't even want to say femininity because it goes beyond that.
I'm more of a logical person. Kind of actually take that weird Jordan Peterson type stuff, just believing in yourself, and actually affect that towards like gender.
Maybe let's take like a recent controversial issue like abortion. Heard women say, hey, no one should be making laws about us. In that instance, it seems like a woman is someone who is able to have a baby. Does that constitute a woman, or would you still stick with your definition?
A uterus wouldn't like make you a woman. I feel like there's so many other parts that are so much more important than just that.
Vagina considers a woman, but if you have like the long hair, if you have the nails.
So I think those are pretty big differences, right? Because I could put on nails and hair, but if I identified as a woman, would that make me a woman?
Yeah.
Is there any scientific definitions, or is it just the words become true?
No one decides to become a woman. So no one just wakes up and is like, oh, I feel like being a woman. There are tons of thoughts, decisions, and even social repercussions, like this entire line of questioning that come with coming out as a woman.
But wouldn't that be kind of ignoring some sort of biological, I don't know, realities?
I think that everybody has their own biological reality, and that's how the world has always worked. But this world is changing every fucking day, and you just gotta keep up with the new time. Are you straight by chance?
I am, yeah.
You identify as straight, and you identify as a male?
Yeah.
So not everybody's gonna follow what your path is, and some people have their own path. And sometimes we just weren't born with that knowledge because we didn't get taught that as children.
Why has it changed over the last few years?
There's trans men who are now capable of giving birth. Whatever makes someone feel better at night and doesn't hurt somebody else, I don't think should matter to anybody.
Okay.
That's true, because I don't really care what other people do.
In your mind, do you think there are more than two genders?
Yes. I couldn't identify them all for you. But
I'm an old school, so if I'm growing up, I just know man and woman.
Again, I think I decided that I'm an alien. Do you believe me? And if you don't accept that I'm an alien, then you're wrong. And that just doesn't make logical sense. So you can have your own opinion, your own thoughts, but I think there's one or the other.
Outside of sport, I don't really think it matters.
So obviously both sides have opinions, but do both sides have solutions? What do you think is a solution? Do you think trans athletes should have their own league? Do you think that sports should be gender neutral?
I've seen some females out there that can kick any guy's ass. I mean, look at fucking Ronda Rousey. She could probably take all her asses up at once.
I don't doubt that at all, but do you think...
If she was fighting a regular guy, sure. But she wouldn't be fighting regular guys. She would be fighting other athletes who train in that sport for the competition they're doing. So I feel like if there's a guy and a girl doing the same training, I feel like she would lose. I'm just saying, that's my opinion.
She'll be able to take a professional male UFC fighter?
No.
I mean, look at her. That
No.
bitch is vicious. You know what I mean?
I feel like she would lose though.
Maybe I'll give somebody a black eye with these.
Some women probably think that they're like faster than men, and some men probably think that they do like way better in like a female or
Speed is all genetics, so I wouldn't really count speed or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you could do it without pissing people off.
Should our priority be to not piss people off?
Yeah.
No, let people get mad, because people will get mad over the dumbest
Guardian
shit.
told me about 10 different information
There should be 3 leagues, bro, so then you make it fair.
I guess
Getting people mad over bullshit doesn't matter. It should be fair all around. So yeah, fair over somebody being mad. I'll take fair.
Who you want to piss off, because then you create more division, right? And you say, oh, well, we're gonna make this only, but then it does make it inclusive for them if that's what they want to do.
Will there even be enough to form a league?
Not necessarily, but I think if we're gonna talk about integration, people of color being integrated into our schools, parks, society wasn't normalized until we talked about it. So trans is one of those topics right now that we just have to normalize.
Not gonna work 2 or 3 times as hard to try to compete against someone naturally born as a male.
Which does bring up something that no one wants to talk about. Are trans women taking away women's rights? Because it wasn't until 50 years ago when Title IX granted more equal access to women in sports. But today, when a trans woman receives a roster spot, is it denying biological women's opportunities? And if there are biological advantages, more times than not, is it denying opportunities to win?
I think you have to ask that population.
If only I knew someone who was trans and also an athlete.
I think someone who is prepubescent and is on hormones before developing natural testosterone, they're not as strong as me.
So should there be an age cutoff then?
Yes, their estrogen and testosterone levels have to be tested before competing.
If I'm gonna be real, I didn't expect that answer. And that even with hormone therapy, when you transition matters. So let's explore further on these advantages. Do you think that trans women have any sort of advantage against biological women when it comes to sports?
No. People can train and become professionals in whatever sport that they want to do, and you have the same ability to do that. Some people grow muscle faster than others, and that has nothing to do with your genitals.
In general, do you think men and women have physical differences?
I think there are physical differences across the plane. We have differences, we're both women. We have differences, we're both women.
Yeah.
There could be biological advantages to it, but at what point is like that measure quantifiable?
A basketball player is scoring 500 points a game.
I would say that would go into more of the skill than rather than just like hormonal like.
From this image, bro is like 6 feet. Everybody else is below 6, below 5'8" actually. That's what it looks like, bro.
Influence.
as long as they're on like the proper treatment with like HRT, I actually think at that point it becomes a disadvantage. I am also on estrogen. Like I lost a lot of that muscle, gained a lot of fatigue.
When I used to play soccer and I felt like it was like better. I felt like I could challenge myself more.
It said that it made you better. Are you saying that men have an advantage over women when it comes to sports?
No, I don't think so. There's like ways in which that men and women can learn from each other in sports.
I guess, but could that be considered a bit unfair for biological women?
I don't think so.
Do you know who LeBron?
Do you play the sport though? Like, you can't say you don't think so if you're not the one competing. Because if I was competing and I felt like it was unfair, I'm gonna say it, right? So if you're not competing, you can't say it's not unfair. I feel like if you're not competing, you shouldn't have a choice, honestly. In this, like, since I'm not a woman, I can't, like, a while back when they were talking about the abortion shit, they were like, since you're not a woman, you can't make a choice for women, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. But if you're not a female athlete that competes, you shouldn't be able to make a choice on this. I feel like it's unfair to them.
James is. So he's 6'8", 280 pounds. What if he became a trans woman and competed against WNBA players? Would that be something that the WNBA players should just get over?
Like, she would have an advantage. At the same time, I don't know, I feel like they could figure it out.
No, they can't figure it out, bro. It's pure muscle, bro. It's going to dunk on every single body. Bro can get 100 points every single game, break every record that's ever been imaginable.
In a league with similarly stacked women, there are 6-foot-plus women who weigh a lot, who have a lot of musculature.
Not as much as LeBron.
I think it would just depend on the sport.
I guess what would be a sport where it would be an equal playing field?
I haven't really thought too much about.
It would be like sports that doesn't have to do with your athleticism. Like, you can't do no MMAs and no like football, basketball, maybe even soccer. No, you can't do soccer. Maybe you could probably do track. A lot of track shits, you could probably do like track. You can't do. I don't feel like you could do shot put. You can't. Like maybe javelin, long jump. No. I don't think long jump. I feel like just sprinting speed, maybe. But then even that's even risky. That might also be iffy. I don't know, bro.
I think in swimming it's possible because
Probably swimming,
they're
yeah.
likely to be more muscular.
It's something that's actually happened. Leah Thomas was a swimmer at UPenn.
I
She
see
started
this.
her collegiate career competing on the men's swim team. But during Leah's junior year, she started hormone therapy.
Transitioned to be happy.
Previously, Leah was ranked 65th in the men's 500-yard freestyle. But as a woman,
Leah Thomas pulling away over the final 150 meters, wins the NCAA championship.
she ranked
If I
first
was
after winning the national.
If I was everybody else, I'd be like, that's bullshit, bro. I put in all this training, and somebody who just changed could just come over and take my spot like that. One, I should have been first. I would feel some type of way if I was a woman. Just saying. That's my opinion again. This whole video is my opinion. If you hate it, then you hate it.
It's controversial to even question this, but sports is competition. So to avoid falling behind, will more programs start exclusively recruiting trans athletes?
You know, complete what I signed up for.
It's something the World Swimming Organization has noticed. New rules will now only allow athletes.
I signed up for.
It's something the
World Swimming bans transgender athletes from women. New policy from World Swimming body effectively bans. Thompson banned as FINA votes to restrict transgender women from competition. They should have it only, or they should. I don't know.
organization has noticed. New rules will now only allow athletes who have transitioned before the age of 12 to compete in women's events. So the
Or
more
12, yeah.
controversial topic, the more discussions we need.
It's like I'm a big soccer fan. Same. Like women's soccer and men's soccer becoming competitive to the point where like some of them are like passing the same like records at the same time.
I had to disagree.
Yeah.
Well, because I have personal experiences with this. When I was like on a U16 soccer team, we played the Portland Thorns. So they were like the women's champions of that specific year. So they have like Alex Morgan, like a bunch of like these Olympic high level athletes. We killed them 6-1 and we were 15.
A personal experience.
Wait, he was on that team? Bro, I heard that. That was him? I didn't know he was on that team. Bro, that's crazy.
That only goes so far. You can have outliers because we're seeing
They're not
individual
outliers,
women
though.
break like certain records and all that.
Against other women.
It is
Yeah.
against other women, but we are also seeing those numbers match very closely to male number.
Because it's against other women.
But don't you think numbers are always relative, right? Like, let's say if I joined a 8-year-old league, I'm gonna score 1,000 goals, right?
No, but numbers as far as like stuff like goals or like
I guess like
But it's against women. That's what he's not getting. I'm not going to try to convince him or whatever, but it's against women. So they're getting the same numbers when they're facing women. But if they were facing men, they wouldn't be getting the same numbers.
What I'm arguing that it is relative though, right? Because you're comparing a woman who is playing against other women's that record against a man playing against other men, right?
Yeah, exactly. With those numbers becoming closer, that is also a good sign that going to move that, like, the bell curve closer and closer together.
Become a cybersecurity professional in less than a year. Our live virtual classes take
in sports that doesn't require as much physical rigor. Do you think then trans women should be able to compete against biological women?
But people wonder why WNBA and NBA get paid differently. It's because clearly NBA guys are dunking like crazy. But hey, if a girl is at that level, then sure, like go do it.
How about like maybe like something even more consequential like UFC or MMA? Do you think men and women should be fighting against each other?
So I would think the weight classes could account for that.
It wouldn't matter. Weight classes.
What about those instances?
I know I would never be trying to fist fight a man.
Why is that?
My opinion doesn't really matter because I'll never be like involved in that stuff. Sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize.
If I'm a female and I'm training my ass off every fucking day, there's a guy who doesn't have to train as hard as me. He comes in and he beats me. I don't feel like shit. No.
And if anyone's allowed to voice an opinion, shouldn't it be those in competition?
Yes.
Instead, what we're seeing is severe consequences for speaking out.
Because at a certain point, I felt like I had to do something.
Taylor Silverman is a Jewish skater who placed second in 2 different contests to trans women. So fed up, she posted a screenshot of her email to Red Bull.
I'm a female athlete. I have been skateboarding for 11 years. Competing for several years. I have been in 3 different contests with trans women, of which I placed second at last contest series I did for Red Bull. I placed second. Trans competitor who took $1K and qualifies 3K in finals and 1K in best tricks. This total of 5K of the prize money meant for female athletes. I took 1K in qualifies, 1750 for second place, and 2750 in total. The girl who took third received 750. The girl who deserved 1,000 for the best trick took nothing, along with whoever would have been placed third. I deserve to be first, be acknowledged for my win, and get paid. I reached out to Red Bull and was ignored. I am sick of being bullied into silence.
Who hosted the contest.
And I knew that people would come after me. I knew that people would come after me for being Jewish.
And what followed was a viral post with tons of comments calling her a transphobe and even some anti-Semitic hate.
The people who are responsible are the contest organizers who allow it to happen, because the reality is all the athletes competing are just going by the rules. Obviously, emailing Red Bull wasn't a way to start a conversation about it. They did not want to have that conversation at all.
And it's exactly this censorship of discussion that's completely hypocritical to the toted message of tolerance and acceptance. And so it's time to explore further, because we've heard of trans women competing, but why not the reverse?
Why do we never hear instances of trans men competing against biological men, but we've heard a lot of instances of trans women competing against biological women?
I am aware of trans professional male athletes who are successful.
But I haven't heard any in the NBA or soccer.
I tend to focus on things that are mainstream.
You just don't necessarily get that in the news as often.
But we've been hearing news about trans women competing against biological women.
How the news is, and that's how this is. It operates on clicks.
Do you think there are instances?
Why are you asking these questions right now type thing?
I'm trying to get closer to what the answer might be. That's why I'm going this approach, asking questions what the other side may ask you.
It's a slightly different approach, and it's nice.
And it's because of misogyny.
This is an instance of a biological woman turning into a man competing against men. Why would there be misogyny involved then?
Because they don't see they're not seeing them as men. Basically, they're not taking them serious.
So then why do we not see the reverse? Do you think it's just one-sided misogyny, or?
I literally think it's that.
If there's no physiological differences between men and women when it comes to sports, why haven't we heard any instances of that?
Society seems to deem women's sports as needing some sort of assistance. So when they see a trans person competing, they feel as though there's something encroaching on a sport that's already not competing on the same level as men's sports, which is inaccurate. Women's sports are highly competitive, often can compete with men at the same level and win.
What sports?
Have she watched
woman playing against a man tennis player? You can.
Serena Williams has said she doesn't want to. Bro, the best women's tennis player has legit said she does not want to compete against men tennis players. How is that, bro?
Being fairly competitive.
And in 1998, Serena and Venus Williams
exactly
that. or tried to.
They kind of got stomped.
Professional male player to a match as long as they were outside of the top 200. The challenge was accepted.
Top 200. That's 200 people in front of him.
By Karsten Brosh,
who was 201? 202 people in front of him.
And the match was a close one. He beat Serena 6-1 and Venus 6-2.
It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster. I love to play women's tennis.
See, like, this is legit from the world's best tennis player. World's females, wait, how do I say it? World's best female tennis player. I was stumbling over my words.
I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed.
So now it's time to ask the most important question. It is a question that I kept asking myself throughout this video. Does questioning make you transphobic?
No, I'm just talking my honest truth. I would be lying to myself if I say anything else.
I think questioning is fine because it allows to explore the curiosity and become much more understanding. I think once you make a judgment towards it, that's when like the phobia comes in.
Well, I know I'm phobic. Well, I'm homophobic, I'm transphobic.
Damn.
Being female, don't come at me with that crazy shit.
When it comes to sports, it's got to be black and white and universal. I'm sure a lot of people won't agree with that.
Do you think we're prioritizing too much of not pissing people off?
That has changed a lot of the ways that people are accepted or desire to be accepted. My whole life, when I see something, this is what my brain tells me. For me to just say, oh, that's this, and not understand it, that is me disagreeing with myself. And that causes more conflict within. That's also another line that we have to like really be wary of.
Things have changed considerably. Women didn't look like that when I was...
I wish she panned over.
We need to learn.
I want to see you.
But when questioning the current thing means you're whatever phobic, how can we even have these types of conversations?
Yeah.
Where are you from, by the way?
Well, there's a lot of controversies around it in Jamaica, but the world is evolving. Probably my opinion might be not someone else's opinion.
And even though I was afraid to make this, what I realized is that if you approach with curiosity, people will speak their truth. And just how people should have the right to do whatever they want with their body.
Have you always felt this way? Is this always something that you wanted to do?
Since like childhood, and I wanted to be viewed for myself versus like a gender.
People should also have the right to speak out for their beliefs. Because if there's one guarantee in the world, it's change.
Like the stuff we viewed 200 years ago isn't viewed the same way now. Maintaining a focus of this gradual progression is a good thing.
Navigating change means dealing with the controversies. And it all starts by exploring the unfamiliar.
Is this going to be broadcasted?
Yeah, so it'll be on youtube.com. Is that okay?
Well, yeah, it's got to be.
So, am I getting canceled after this? I feel like I'm too smart to get canceled. If he didn't get canceled, I feel like I should. Should be one of the greatest commentaries. Oh, when? 2 months ago? Damn, this is actually a long ass video. Or from a while ago, bro. That's your choice, but to deny that man and woman have differences is stupid. Hey, I didn't say this comment did. Because if we weren't different, why would you literally change your hormones and body structure? Facts. Right. What would even be the point of transitioning if there were no differences to begin with? Oh shit, I never thought of that. I've never thought of this. I never thought of this. That is actually a good point. That's a good point. A chill woman is not stupid. How far do we have to go just to reach this simple conclusion? Be trans, but what even is it exactly? Lying? Wait, is it accept lying and expecting others to play along? That's crazy. Jessica, that's crazy. So, are sports just play ball? Best comment, so you're so right. Yeah, this makes so much. This is such a good point, bro. It's insane. I've never thought of that. I am in graduate school in health and professional right now. Nothing has changed. Male is defined as XY, if a female is XX. Whatever you wish to identify is your own choice, but in 200 years, when your bones are dug up, you will be identified as what you are biologically and not what you perceive yourself to be. All in all, just do what you want. Also, I heard this, but they were like, X and Y isn't like that anymore. It's not like that. Yes, there are cases like Turner syndrome where they only have one X chromosome. In that case, they are always identified as a female, since they have no Y chromosomes. They still have more female traits and non-functional female organs or none at all. Another one is Klein fetters, in which they may have multiple X chromosomes and one Y, such as XXY or XXXY. In that case, they are always identified as male since they have Y chromosomes. No matter how many X chromosomes they have, they're still male since they have the Y chromosomes. I've seen this, and you of all people should understand that being male or female isn't the same thing as being a woman or a man. If you are here to invalidate your degree, I'm all for it. What? Hold on, does he reply to it? You couldn't accept the way you were born and then you want the world to accept you. What irony. This very statement defines how idiotic you are. Please explain the difference. I love to learn more. Unless you are speaking of the differences between men and women physically. Well, physiologically. Sorry, I would like to know the difference between a woman compared to a man in gender identity, because gender is not defined by someone feeling the sex-based misogynistic beliefs in the meaning of a woman, but also understand the difference between men and women and how one can identify as a masculine woman without testosterone or drugs. And not saying to say that gender and sex are different. I heard this on the topic of when you're dug up in 600 years. That's just a guess. They use autonomy to take a guess. Okay then, let me know what you guys think, bro. If people hate me over my opinion, it's crazy. Just don't watch me, bro. Alright, that's all I can say, honestly. But yeah, subscribe to me. I say just don't watch me, and then I say subscribe, like, follow. Bye. I don't know if I'll research more about this because I really don't care. Unless it has to do with me, I could really care less. So, yeah, bye.